I was learning, I mean, there's a lot of challenges and hurdles when you're learning, right? You have revenge trading, you have emotional trading, you got, letting losers run, not clipping your winners, not moving your stop loss to break even. There's a lot of issues that every trader has in the beginning.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Traders Talk Podcast. Today I have Nick. He is co-owner and founder at the Funded Trader program, Forexleague. He's also a trader himself. And yeah, we're just going to ask him about his story and get to know about, how he got into the position he is today. So welcome, Nick, to the podcast. I'm going to dive right into it, man. Waste no more time. The first question that I always ask and I love asking is, what was life like before trading for Nick? So like before you even found out about trading, you even knew anything about the markets, like what were you doing and how did you find out about trading?
So before trading, I was working in manual labor as an HVAC technician. So I was doing air conditioners, heaters, and all that right before college, and from 15 to sophomore year in college. And that's when I found trading. So I saw a guy on Instagram, the usual social media find of Forex, and he had some nice cars, and I was interested in trading, and he was putting stuff on his story, including babypips.com. So it was actually the first site I went through. I just knocked that site out in like a couple of days, and I knew at that point I was instantly hooked on trading. I was ready to go from there.
And this was like during your college, right? This is while you were studying in college?
Yeah, this is sophomore year in college when I actually found Forex.
Okay, and then so in terms of your learning process, did you buy any courses at that time, or was it all like, was there even stuff available on YouTube at that time? Like, how did you learn basically?
So I was actively looking. The only two communities that were out were Astro and some other group that's not around anymore. Right. So they were around before I was. Okay. But they were really the only guys, and they were pretty expensive. So I was looking at sources like YouTube, other free resources like Baby Pips. And then eventually I did find a guy who was offering a course. Okay. The community was called Mentor Tips. I don't know if anybody remembers it, but it wasn't in existence for that long. It was like a couple months that I was in it, and then it turned into an MLM, in which case I got out real quick. That's how it goes.
Okay. All right. So how long from like that point when you found out about trading, from that to actually making some money, any money, were you just trading a small live account at when you started making some money? How long did it take?
So that took me till I was actually profitable 3.5 years, right? So I was break even around the 3-year mark, and then it took me another 6 months to get profitable.
Okay, and then the reason I asked this question is because I just got somebody who asked me today, he's like, I'm really upset. I haven't found any profitability. I'm really depressed. This isn't really working out. And one of the questions I asked him was like, how long have you been trading for? And he's like, 6 months. And I was like, dude, it's going to take a lot longer than 6 months, right? Like for me, it took it took me a little over 2 years. So, I mean, there's that way when you're not making any money and you're kind of, everybody kind of has that, you burn out emotionally and financially. A lot of people burn out financially too. Like, I mean, I think I lost $30,000 my first year because I was just being stupid. During that time when you were in college, you weren't really making any money. I'm sure you lost some money at some point, right? During that, it can be very exhausting. Like what kind of kept you pushing? Like why did you keep going during that time? Because a lot of people will just quit trading, and you probably know this.
Right. So I knew that, again, I found it in my sophomore year of college. So I had about 3 years before I was going to graduate. And that's kind of like the finish line for me. It was either, when you graduate college, you got to get a job, keep doing what you're doing, or find some other sources of income, right? And luckily enough, I had that 3 years to learn trading. So that was kind of my motivation. I was like, this is the finish. I'm going to get it by 3 years if it takes everything in me, right? That was driving me. And then also all the people around me, they weren't really, they were pretty doubtful, to be honest. And that's probably the, similar story with every trader. They don't really believe that you can make money trading and all that. Right. So that was driving me as well. Very stubborn, wanted to, just prove them wrong, essentially.
Cool. So yeah, just in between, I just want to tell everybody. So Nick is, again, he's one of the co-founders at the Funded Trader program. If you guys are looking to do a challenge with them, there's a link in the description below where you can get 12% off. He's also the co-founder and at Forexleague, which is the Forex education program. So if you want to cut some time between your learning curve, you can find the links in the description below. And yeah, he's an experienced trader. I believe he's been trading for about 9 years now. That's a long time, dude. So like at this point, I mean, I'm sure you had different stages of your trading career. At the 9-year mark, like what does your day look like in terms of just the trading part? Like what is your trading routine like?
Yeah. So now it's pretty boring now in comparison to how it was. Definitely way more dramatic back then. But now so I'll do all my analysis. This is my routine. I'll do all my analysis on Sunday where I reanalyze all my main pairs. And then I'll present it to the group, and then throughout the week, wake up in the morning during the New York session, and I'll stay on the charts for a couple hours, scoping out the 4 hour, looking for, PRZ zones, waiting for anything to set up, drop to the 1 hour, confirm, execute on the 30-minute. And I only take 2 to 3 trades per week. So nothing crazy. I risk 2% per trade. Don't need to, take that many. And honestly, 1 or 2 trades, if I, win 1 or 2 trades a week, that's more than enough.
Right. And it's probably has a lot to do with a larger capital amount, right? So a lot of people that are trading small accounts, this is something that I struggled with a lot, was like when I had a smaller account, even if it was $1,000, $5,000, I cannot trade small accounts. And I guess it's because I don't like seeing these small digits. And that's where like funding kind of comes in. And because nobody wants to make like, if you risk 1% of $100, whatever, $1, like nobody wants to make $3. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're going to eventually going to over leverage and blow the account. Anytime you over leverage, you're going to blow an account. That's where I believe like funding is kind of like the solution to people's trading problem, basically at this point. If you can like figure out your strategy, you can join a community, you can learn a strategy, you can learn from somebody like Nick and a lot of other good mentors these days, and you can kind of get a little bit of control on your psychology. So I want to ask you a question in terms of funding. Like I know a lot of people, we obviously know a lot of people fail funding challenges, right? It's a great opportunity, but do you feel like a lot of people fail phase 2 more than they fail do you feel like people are failing phase 2 because of excitement and people are like not really using those 60 days that they really should be?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely because of excitement. They could taste the victory. It's right there. They're on phase 2. It's a home stretch. It seems easier in your mind. Only need 5%, and we got the 60 days. But really, that messes with you. It has an inverse, effect where you think you're gonna do better or hit the profit, faster, or the targets faster. But it's not that case at all. Instead, you want to do the opposite and slow down, cut your risk in half, and just use as much time as you can. There's no rush on it. So why would you set yourself up for failure? Okay,
and so now from like you looking from outside in and all perspectives, because you have all the data, what is like, do you feel like phase 1 should be more like way aggressive? Like you should be either like really hammering it out, and then obviously you just talked about phase 2, but let's talk about phase 1. What is your advice about phase 1 of any, it doesn't have to be the funded trade, any prop firm challenge? What do you think is the best approach to take in passing phase 1 of the challenge?
So I would approach this challenge in a way where it's like you're not doing too much from your original strategy. You don't want to get outside of your, let's call it strategy comfort zone, because that's when mistakes start getting made.
Right.
Now you can adjust slightly the challenge, because it is kind of like a trade in itself. You have to manage the challenge in a way. And if you're a good trader, this is how I kind of figure out if someone's a good trader or not. If they're always either passing or getting a retry on the challenge. Because if you're always getting a retry or passing, you have phenomenal risk management.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. It's not an if, it's a when you're going to pass.
Right.
Type scenario.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely how I take it. I'm a little bit more riskier with my challenges now, but I think with in terms of passing prop firm challenges, phase 1 should have a different risk strategy. Phase 2 should have a different risk strategy. And then if you're actually funded, I don't think you should be risking more than 0.5% per trade, because it's easy to lose these live accounts as well. I'm sure you know about that. Like the amount of people that actually make it to their first payout is not that many, but again, it's a great opportunity. So in terms of like, I mean, you're somebody who's at the 9-year mark. We don't really, like, there's not a lot of people who've been trading for that long that are actually actively in the community. I'm sure this used to be a problem for you before, but now when you go through a losing week or a bad week, you probably already know it's going to be over in a while. But was there something that you used to do back in the day to like prevent yourself from going crazy during that week or that month?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When I was learning, I mean, there's a lot of challenges and hurdles when you're learning, right? You have revenge trading, you have emotional trading, you got letting losers run, not clipping your winners, not moving your stop loss to break even. There's a lot of issues that every trader has in the beginning, and you want to try and set some rules for yourself. So identify the problem and then create a rule to combat that. Right. So one example would be revenge trading. If you're, taking 4 trades, 5 trades a day and they're all losing, or you have 1 winner, 4 losers, you need to change something, right? Limit yourself. Me personally, I won't take 2 losses in a day. If I take 2 losses in a day, I'm done trading.
Okay.
I'll refresh, come back tomorrow, remove my emotions from the game. So you need to just identify the problems and then come up with rules to help with them.
Yeah, I think that's especially if you're doing, I just keep coming back to funding, but I think that's one of the big topics. I think with funding, if you lose more than 1.5% per day or 2%, I think you should call it a day. And one of my rules usually, before I've changed my strategy up a little bit in terms of funding, but last year was, if I lose more than 3% per week, I'm just gonna stop, because once you're in that drawdown, it can really start messing with your head, and you kind of go into like gambling mentality almost, right?
Right.
Now,
yeah.
Somebody like you who's been trading for like 9 years, that's a long time. I think I'm lucky that I kind of have some intuition, but one of the questions would be like, do you feel like intuition plays a part in your trading? It's so that I'm talking about, like, you've seen this setup so many damn times. You've seen your strategy play out so many times. You kind of already have this, like, you already know what's going to kind of happen, and you get a little bit more aggressive. And then sometimes you don't be so much aggressive, but do you feel like intuition plays a role in your trading?
Absolutely. Yeah. And more so, like, the longer you trade, the stronger your intuition gets.
Yes.
I personally started noticing like a real feeling around like the 5-year mark, where I'd become so familiar with my watch list and the setups, and, each pair has like its own characteristics that it likes to repeat and perform, on the chart. So, after a while, you'll even get these subconscious like feelings, and that's just your intuition telling you that this is either a good trade or a bad trade. But yeah, I make a lot of decisions based on intuition now.
Yeah, I think it's just, honestly, I think it comes from seeing the same thing over and over again, especially if you're trading the same pairs. And for some people, it builds sooner. Some people, 5 years is a long time, dude. That's not, like, you went through a lot to get to that stage. So it's definitely not easy. Now, one of the other questions that I love asking on this podcast is, because I've seen it with myself. Do you feel like you had to make some changes in your personal life to like actually get to your trading goals? Like, did your life improve in certain other aspects? Like, you forcefully had to change some things in your life to kind of get to where you are?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, you got to treat trading like a business. And the more you can treat it like a business and respect it, and not show up, hungover or, out of sorts, or, starting your day as the New York session's ending, something like that. You have to really treat it like a business and come prepared, come focused, like it is your, 9 to 5. Right. Even if you're not spending that many hours, you have to, treat it with respect. So for me, one of the things is I started giving up weekends. My only day off is Saturday, especially with everything going on.
Right.
And then I also gave up drinking.
Okay.
Right? That was just one of my own, disciplines. Just started to get rid of that. Yeah, just for the benefit of trading. Now, maybe that'll change one day, but right now this is, what's required.
Yeah, for me, I think there was a few things that I definitely had to change, but it's definitely improved me as a person as well. You kind of get more balanced emotionally as well, because trading is like a roller coaster. So you kind of have to, if you can't manage your emotions, it's going to be tough for you to manage trading. So, but let's touch on the Funded Trader program. It's an amazing prop firm. If you guys want to do a challenge, again, there's a link in the description. You can get 12% off. A lot of great changes have come about this year. For the people that don't know what the changes from, because I remember in the start you guys had a few rules and then it changes. So some people don't do challenges so regularly. Do you want to just touch on some of the recent changes that have taken place at the Funded Trader program?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot going on. There's always something in the works. We have a crazy innovative team. So, some projects are more secretive than others, but you guys saw the Trade Hub come out. We have the new site launching soon. We just put in motion a Tesla giveaway plus 20K cash. So that's going to be super interesting. Yeah, that's all in Discord. But guys, there's always something that we're trying to do.
No, one of the great things that I love is that you guys have now, I know you only have the standard challenge, but now there's the Royal and the other one. So it's, you have the option. If some people like myself don't like actually trying to go for that 10%. So if you want to do 8%, now you guys have given us the option of doing that as well. And the new website and the Trade Hub looks amazing. It's a very really good job done from there. So I don't want to keep Nick here for too long. So one of the last questions I'm going to ask him is, what is one mistake from your 9 years of experience, right? You've been doing this for a long, long time, right? And now you own a prop firm, so you know all the ins and outs of all the mistakes that people are making. You even have your own Forex education program, right? One of the stages that people typically hit, one of the stages that I hit when I wanted to quit was I was break even. I was making money, but I wasn't able to pull it out of the market. I couldn't do a withdrawal because I was giving it back. So, and I feel a lot of people in my community get to that point. What is one advice that you could give to people that are at the break even stage or just right before profitability? They can't get to actually they can pass the challenge. Maybe they can't withdraw from the market. What is that one last thing you think would be good for them?
So the biggest impact for that type of trader in that specific range is going to be networking, right? Whether it's getting into a community, surrounding yourself with other traders, or just, reaching out to some friends, other traders on social media that you can connect with and regularly meet with, right? That collaboration is going to propel your trading to a new level, right? Both from a teaching perspective and also being, taught. That type of network or close circle, it's rare to find. I was alone for 4 years. In my first 4 years of trading, I didn't have anybody, so that, and I've seen that specifically in my community, that those types of small groups and those pocket networks of traders, you just see progress like crazy coming out of them, which is amazing. That will definitely change.
That's one of the best advice I think I've heard on this podcast, because I've noticed this with myself as well. Like just being part of a community. So ever since I launched my own, I've been a part of other communities, and they definitely 100% helped me. Whatever course it was that had a community where I could actually talk to people, whether it was about the strategy or like, if I was having a bad day, helped me. But ever since, I had my own Trading LP community, just helping people, talking to people, and if people like talking within themselves, it can literally cut that time.
Right.
For you, I think for me, it was like a year and a half before I found a community, but you spent 4 years by yourself. So that must have been like a really lonely time, dude, right?
Oh yeah, it was tough.
So for people that are like, wanting to cut down on that time, join a community, join a mentorship, join a program where, there's this, you can join Forexleague. That's a great mentorship where you can actually talk to other people, because that's going to kind of cut the time. Like, look at Nick, he's been here for 9 years. That's a long time, but you have the opportunity now as traders to, number one, cut that time off. And number two, you have funding programs now that are available, which, you no longer have to try to flip accounts. You can actually use funding to get funded and make real money nowadays. Thank you, Nick, for coming on the podcast today. I'm gonna leave all of Nick's links in the description for Forexleague, all his Instagram, if you want to get in touch with him, whatever. It's gonna be in the description below.